2023, 2 days prior to the Diwali season, and now 2 days prior to this. The major sectors between the metros and the major connectivity points where huge traffic flows, the prices have reduced from 2% to the tune of 42%. This is something just by proactively reacting to the suggestions that you have given and interacting with the airlines and sensitizing that, we'll be thoroughly monitoring the air prices. And if there is anything, because we all have the rules right now, that if anything happens out of the rules, then we can penalize them also. So we are making the tariff monitoring unit system more and more robust, so that they can't act according to their whims and fancies and they feel like they're in a closed room and they can do whatever they want. We are keeping a watchful eye on them, and we are moving one step at a time. And we want to ensure that जो हवाई चप्पल से हवाई जहाज का सफर जो है वो अभी तक आधा तो सच हो गया है, और पूरी तरह से इसमें और लोगों को शामिल करने का जो ये है वो आगे करते रहेंगे, और ये हमारे वादा है सरकार की तरफ से. And on top of this, airfares, there was also an issue of bomb threats also. And if you look at the bomb threats, it was during a specific period. There were multiple instances before also. Once in a while, these were happening. But from 10th October to 24th November, there was sudden surge and so many threats happening on the social media, especially on Twitter, and some were through calls and all. So first thing I want to tell the House is that for us as a ministry, safety and security is the topmost priority. Now, the threat can be a hoax threat or it can be a fake threat. But for us, once a threat is received, we have to follow the protocol, because we can't put any life at risk just based on assumptions or based on what we think the threat could be. So in that time, we have increased the security, overall surveillance, overall security measures that we need to take. On one step, we have improved. And we have kept the mechanism very, very dynamic. So whatever we have learned while doing these threats, while addressing these threats, whatever good feedback that came in through the ministry, through the BCAS, through MHA, through MIghty, all these departments combined together, we have tried to address this problem as a dynamic situation. And overall, the flights, only 3.24 of the threats that were received, 3.24% of the flights only got diverted. So much of this thing we were able to address, and we were trying to get down the inconvenience faced by the passengers to the very minimum. That was one dynamic approach which we followed during the bomb threats. But I agree that this can't keep happening all the time. Now, they can't keep taking advantage of this situation that we are going to check each and every plane whenever a threat is received. And they can't do all these hoax threats, because all the threats we received were hoax threats. We thoroughly followed the process, and nowhere we found that there was any real threat. But as we move forward, we understand that this couldn't follow. So we are making some legislative changes also on this. We have aircraft security rules. And through these aircraft security rules, what we are trying to bring in is a legislation change where whoever found guilty of doing this will be put under no-fly list. So this is one approach that we are taking. So at least it becomes a deterrent. Because 3 instances, we have found out that there have been 11 different IDs that have been used through social media. And the police, especially Mumbai police and Delhi police, they have made some attempts to catch some people also. And they have found out that one person who was going after this, he had some kind of personal grudge against the person who was flying on that flight. So for that reason, he puts in a threat on social media that there is a bomb on the plane. So with these kind of using it for very petty pranking styles, or just not understanding the whole seriousness about the air travel and the security that we follow, we don't want people to step into that direction of using the aviation sector as doing for these pranksters. So to put a deterrent, we are changing the aircraft security rules and making the no-fly list for these people who do these kind of activities. And also there is another act. Now people have mentioned, why don't you put it in this act also? But under the civil aviation, we have another act, which is the Chanakyaa Act, safety suppression of unlawful acts against safety of civil aviation. This is another act which specifically deals with these offenses and unlawful activities regarding the plane. And we found that that can be strengthened a little bit. So we are going into amend that law. We are bringing in slightly more stringent laws into that act itself, which will address the concern that has been raised today. So in very quick time, we would like to bring it to the House also, so that the amendment that is proposed in the Chanakyaa Act can also get passed. And that is regarding the bomb threats we are facing. And on top of that, there are some other, in the very beginning, Digi Yatra